All right, I am going to refresh and see if we are live. I have TubeBuddy. I have it up on my computer so that we can just make sure. I think we are live. Hello, everybody, and welcome to this women's panel today. We're going to be talking about a lot of things that you need to know when it comes to growing on YouTube. Specifically, we're going to dive into a little bit more of the planning, scheduling, and kind of promotion side of YouTube. So if at any time you have questions about these topics, drop them into the chat because we're going to be popping the questions up on the live feed and answering them for you. Real quick, if we haven't met, my name is Trena Little, and I'm going to be hosting a women's panel here today with 4 amazing ladies, and I'm going to let them go ahead and introduce themselves. So the first person that I see on my screen is Sonia. So Sonia, why don't you go ahead and introduce yourself and let everybody know what your channel is about?
Okay, hi, nice to meet you all. My name is Sonia. I am a YouTube creator from Mexico City, and my channel is all about helping other creators start their own YouTube channels and succeed at their platforms. So nice to meet you all.
Thank you. And what's really interesting is your channel is all in Spanish, right?
Yeah, it's all in Spanish. So if you speak Spanish and you want to know all the YouTube tricks, go to my channel.
Yes. Okay, and the next lady we have is Kat.
Hello, everybody. My name is Theo. I'm a social media strategist and a digital marketing expert. On my channel, you'll find everything about your financial health, improving it, creating side hustles that allow you to have a little more financial freedom, and overall creative ideas to make money online. So I'm super excited to be here, and thank you for having me.
Yes, of course. Next up is Liz.
Hey guys, thanks so much for having me. I am Liz Merrick, and I am a full-time content creator for the Sugar Geek Show, which is a YouTube channel, and we also have a cake decorating membership website. So if you got a sweet tooth, my channel is probably going to be a good place for you to be.
Yes, my daughter has started watching that, so we're getting into the cake decorating. And then last up, we have Marissa.
Hey everybody, my name is Marissa Romero, and on my channel you can find things about YouTube monetization and growth, passive income, and really the fundamental things that you'll need to start an online business, whether that's email marketing. We go over topics such as, again, other passive income streams and side hustles, a little similar to Theo. And so yeah, that's what you can find on my channel.
Thank you. I am so happy to have all of you ladies here today. And like I said, we're going to be talking about growing our YouTube channel by really planning and scheduling, because as you heard, every single one of us have pretty much a business as well. We're not just creating content on YouTube. Some of us also have families and kids that we are trying to manage as well. So to be able to stay consistent on YouTube and see results by posting weekly, there's a lot of planning that goes on behind the scenes. So I would love to hear from one of you, what is kind of that first process you go through when figuring out how you're going to schedule in time to film your YouTube videos? Marissa, did you want to take this one?
Sure, I could take a stab at it. I've recently started a new trend, or not new trend, but new routine where I film on Wednesday for the following week. So I post on Tuesday and Friday. And so I will film and prep before Wednesday. So like yesterday was Tuesday, for example. And so Wednesday's kind of like a giant film day. And that has seemed to work for me as long as I stay on schedule, because if not, then things are a little bit more rushed. But Wednesday is a good film day for me.
Mm-hmm. And do you usually film just one, or do you try to do 2 in one day?
Yeah, I try to do everything, the YouTube videos, TikToks, anything that needs to be prepped and filmed for the following week, then that's what gets done on Wednesday.
Mm-hmm. Now, Liz, I want to hear your kind of process, because as a cake decorator, your process is a bit more lengthier than just talking to the camera. So what does your process look like when you're scheduling out time to record your YouTube videos?
I actually film on Wednesdays too. I don't know what it is about Wednesday, but it feels like a good day to like dive in. But the whole week is spent kind of prepping for the following week. So, or even like the following month. So what we usually do, because cakes are so like, it's not just like a recipe that you can just bake and then put on a plate and take pictures of. You have to like decorate it, and has all of these other elements that go with it, like frosting or a filling. So I have a video editor, a full-time video editor, and we get together and we look ahead a month or sometimes through the whole quarter, and we think about the seasonality and what people might be wanting to make during that season. So if it's springtime, we're thinking about fruits, we're thinking about wedding cakes, things like that. And then we will do some SEO research to see which one of those seems like a good option to go for. And then we will plan which cakes we're going to make. And then while we're filming the cake overall, we also break down each element into its own video, so that we're making 2 to 3 recipes at once, but the whole cake as one is the main post. But then for the blog, we will, the frosting will be its own post, the filling will be its own post, and then the cake as a whole will be its own post. So that, and then we also do video clips while we're filming for TikToks, for stories, for Instagram. So I think that it does slow things down, but you make a ton of content in one day. And I have to do it that way because I have 2 kids, and everybody knows Wednesday is like filming day, and you do not come downstairs or I will lose it.
I will also add on to that Wednesdays that I shoot YouTube videos on Wednesdays. I shot 2 before going on here today. So
Nice.
I'm glad we're all in the same brainwave. Sonia and Kat, do you guys have a little different process, or did you ladies want to share maybe what your process looks like?
Okay, I think I should start to film my videos on Wednesday because that's the magical day. No, but I also have a filming day right now. But back when I was working full time, I was filming first thing in the morning before going to work. So maybe if you are still working full time and you don't have enough time to schedule a whole filming day, I would suggest to just film whenever you can.
And Kat?
Yeah, so I, just like you other ladies, I film on Saturdays though. So I have to definitely make time. I have a full-time job and full-time side hustles and a lot of responsibilities. So Saturday is my day that I put all my video content out there. So if it doesn't happen on Saturday, it's not going to happen for the rest of the week. So I have to be very organized by, making sure that Saturday comes, that we're ready to go. So at night, usually during the week, I'll do a little bit every day just to make sure that on Saturday we're ready to go. And then I batch film. To me, that has changed the way my channel has worked. Like batch filming has changed my life. So I try to do about 4 videos at the minimum. Sometimes it doesn't happen. Sometimes I can do more. So that was the key for me.
Yeah, same. I love batching. And we talked a little bit before we jumped on here. This is the first day in 3 weeks that I don't have any kids at home. So I was definitely utilizing today to film as much video content as possible. The next thing I wanted to talk about, if we kind of reverse our kind of process a bit, is before you start filming. I know Liz had mentioned how she does her SEO keyword research. So I would love to touch base here a little bit on what does your process look like before you even shoot your videos? Are you ladies researching any of your content before you even film? Sonia, I see you nodding your head. Do you want to go ahead and take this one?
Okay, sure. So I love TubeBuddy for that reason, obviously. But the Keyword Explorer is a great tool to actually research topics beforehand. Before even planning to record that video, you have to research that topic. And I also recommend to have a script. I know back when I first started, I didn't have a script whenever I was filming a video, and that made it really, really difficult for me. It took like 3 hours to film a video, and right now I think it takes me like 30 minutes to film a video, maybe more if the video is longer, but it's basically all because of having a script beforehand.
Mm-hmm. And Liz, I would love for you to share kind of what your process looks like, since you did bring it up, how you do all your SEO research beforehand.
Yeah, we also use TubeBuddy to research our topics ahead of time, and we use analytics to analyze previous posts, just like you taught me, Trena, and to look and see what's really resonating with our audience. And sometimes it's things that I really would not guess. It's something that maybe just blew up a little bit later, or it's something that we posted a long time ago and is suddenly gaining traction. And that has really helped us move forward with choosing things, because I like to kind of be all over the place. And that's just like a creative thing, a creative person thing. I feel it's like, oh, I want to do this and I want to do this, but I have to really use the data to tell me where I should be focusing my effort onto, right? Because that's what your audience wants. And so we use, SEO to look for, keyword research to look for keywords. And then we look and see how hard it is to actually get that keyword. And then I will go and actually pre-write my blog post using all of the questions that people ask for that particular thing. So if I'm doing a recipe on lemon cake, I will look and see, well, what do people ask about lemon cake, and what are some problems they have with lemon cake? And that is kind of my script, like Sonia was saying. So I can't do a word for word, otherwise I will like freeze up. But I do make sure I hit key points, and my my videographer helps me a lot with that. She'll be like, how do you keep lemon cake moist? I'm like, right. So that helps me stay on track and make sure that I'm answering all of the questions that people have in my video, because technology is smart now, right? You know, Google can hear what you're saying in your videos. And now we're starting to see them actually take little clips from YouTube videos and answer them in Google searches and say, hey, at 3 minutes and 50 seconds, the Sugar Geek Show answers this question about lemon cake. Do you want to watch that video? And so sometimes our YouTube videos rank higher for certain terms, just the video itself, than our actual blog post.
Yeah.
So that's important to do that research.
Absolutely. Now, Marissa, I may be confusing your Instagram with your YouTube because I watch both, but are you doing vlogs on your YouTube channel at all?
I have 2 YouTube channels. So
okay.
I created a second YouTube channel for lifestyle and vlogging, and just to have a little bit more freedom and no niche with that.
Yeah. So do you do any type of research with that when you are filming your vlogs? Because I did notice somebody wrote a comment about how it's hard to kind of do that pre-plan before vlogging. Do you do any pre-planning?
Yes, I do. It's with the vlogging, it's more of, it's way different than a tutorial style, because you wanna really take them through an experience, and like they're there with you, or whatever you're doing. Maybe you're doing a training day in the life of me training, day in the life of me exploring this city in Colombia, or something like that. So that definitely, the vlogging style takes much more planning than a tutorial style, because you need to also consider what types of B-roll shots that you want, because you'll want B-roll of you, maybe looking out on a balcony or something, and you want B-roll of the little details of wherever you are. And also just like what is gonna be where you're going. So I also like to do GoPro shots if it's any type of like action thing I'm doing, something underwater, or if, maybe it's, for example, I've used the GoPro a few times when riding on the motorbike and stuff like that. So that is a lot more the vlog style, in my opinion, the way I do it. And for a lot of other creators, it takes a lot of envisioning and making sure you're getting all the shots, because you can never, ever have too much B-roll. And so yeah, definitely those are the things that I think about.
Yeah, I think it's important to think about that, because even though you are vlogging, you need a plan in place, because like you said, if you're underwater swimming, you can't go back and get that shot again. So to have that plan in place to make sure you're getting everything. Kat, what about you? How do you kind of prepare for those videos before you even film them?
So as far as keyword research, I do a variety of different things. Every video is a little bit different. So I do use the TubeBuddy Keyword Explorer. I also go back on my own videos since I've had my channel for a few years now. I'll go back and look at old videos that didn't do as well, and I'll kind of do an audit of why maybe it didn't do as well. Was it the thumbnail? Was it poor editing? Was it before I changed over to a better camera or a better mic? So if the information is still relevant, I'll just rehash it out. I also really like a website called Answer the Public. You can type in a certain keyword and then they'll give you all of the questions that are popular with that keyword. I really like that one. I'll also use YouTube itself. So if I am thinking about a topic that I would like to do, I'll just type it into the YouTube search bar and see if it's different questions that come up. And then I also just listen to my audience. So usually if enough people will ask the same question, I'll make a video about it. Usually if one person asks a question, many other people have the same question, right? So I'll use my own comments to create video content around that.
Yeah, I do that a lot too. And I look at other comments on other videos as well. That's always a gold mine.
We do that too. We'll get comments that ask over and over and over for the same thing. And you're just like, okay, this was not in my thought process, but apparently you guys really want this. So, and people love that you're like, hey, I literally made this based off your comments, and they feel like you're listening to them.
Yeah.
Definitely.
One of the other things I like a lot is polls, the polls on the community tab as well. That's always a good idea, figuring out where your audience kind of lies on the content you want to talk about.
Totally.
So we had a couple questions I saw in the chat about workflow and getting kind of systemized and processes. Do any of you have any tips or hacks on how you save time creating videos? I know Marissa says she kind of plans out her vlog before she does it. What about you, Sonia? Is there anything that you do since you are doing your video kind of as a side hustle to help you save time?
Yeah, so I am a mom. I have a 1-year-old, so I don't have a lot of time right now.
Nope.
And yeah, nope. So one of the things that has helped me a lot is having a YouTube studio, a mini YouTube studio, because it's not huge. It's in my living room right now. But having just my camera set up, like my microphone, everything ready. So I just need to sit down here and start recording. That has helped me a lot, because when I didn't have a kid, I used to have like my camera and my lighting and everything set up when I was going to film a video. So I would take like 30-40 minutes setting up everything, and now it's ready to go. It's here. I just need to press record, and that's it. So obviously not a lot of people have like a room to have their own YouTube studio in their homes, but maybe a corner in your bedroom or in your living room, something that you are like just, okay, I'm going to sit here and I'm going to start recording, and that's it.
Anybody else?
I do the same thing. We just set up our lights, artificial lights, which has been hard to figure out if you don't have a videography like background. So sifting through all of the different lights and things like that was a little bit difficult. But now that we have lights figured out, it is so incredibly fast. Just go downstairs and you're like, time to film, and you just turn on the lights and you just go. And literally until 3 months ago, I was filming in our family kitchen. So not only did we have to set up lights, but it was like also clean the kitchen, or like take all the dishes from on the other side of the camera to like hide them. And my husband would have to take the kids and remove them from the house because our kitchen was open to the rest of the house. So you couldn't even like, just say, oh, because that doesn't work. So not everybody has that, but like, that's such a good advice to I'm in my bedroom right now, like window, and that's it, because it's the space furthest away from my kids right now. And it works for what we're doing today, right? You just got to find that little quiet spot and just do what you got to do.
Yeah. And I think even if you can't leave your equipment up, I've heard a great tip is just put tape on the floor somewhere where you set your camera up. So you know you're setting your camera up at the same place, but you don't have all this stuff set up all the time.
Yeah.
Marissa, do you have any secret hacks or tips for how you stay consistent?
So on the, I guess, business tool side, I use Asana, and I use that religiously. If it doesn't get Asana, you know, for personal or business aspect of my life, it just doesn't happen. So Asana, I have a very streamlined process of planning everything, because, you know, sometimes there's video ideas, sometimes there's videos being filmed, videos being edited by my editing team. And so that's how I'm able to really keep track of everything that's going on and not get lost and not be confused. Of like, hey, wait, what was that? And so we have it really systemized down to how, you know, every video is its own little project. You know, it has a number, it has the video title, and it, you know, we drag it through the different steps within the Asana project, so we know exactly where it is. Kind of like a Domino's pizza tracker, or here we have Rappi, and I know kind of like Uber Eats in the States, you know where, you know, in the process your video is. And so I have also on the studio side have so much experience with YouTube studios, because, you know, before the pandemic, I've probably, including all the YouTube studios, I've probably had over 30 where I've had to figure out where to shoot the videos, because we, my fiance and I, we've traveled a lot to several Airbnbs, and we don't really have, you know, an official home. You know, we've settled down here in Medellin, Colombia for a while now, for over a year. So it's nice to have some stability and some studio and a nice background, you know, finally. But I think the important thing, I think, Trina, you said about the tape and about how things were positioned, is memorizing the best way to how you had it last. So like here, I know that I have the light goes here, here, and here in this exact position. And so I do have to take down the lights and put them back up every single time. However, I know exactly where they go. I know exactly what cables I need to plug in and stuff like that. So that is, it takes a lot of practice, but, you know, I think the best advice I have for like home studios and people organizing the studio in their house is to be near a natural window lighting source if you can, because that makes things a whole lot easier when you record and for the quality. So
yeah, I love that you brought up Asana. I am also an Asana lover. We run not only my channel, but all the channels within our agency, which is like 8 or 9 other channels as well within Asana. Are any of you ladies using a project management tool like Asana, ClickUp, Trello? There's a million of them out there, but I'm just curious, how are you all organizing everything when it comes to creating content?
We also use Asana. I used Trello for a while, and we started using Asana because we started having more, what are they called, contractors who were doing little things, and it was really hard to keep track of where each person was on the project, and communicating within, it's almost like an email system, but then you can check the email off as done, right? So multiple people can be working on things. And for me personally, I really like the task feature. Oops, I'm so sorry. Nobody ever calls me. What's happening?
Always happens that way.
I like the task feature on Asana because it's almost like a to-do list for myself. So I like drink my coffee, look at my Asana tasks, and I'm like, oh, today I forgot I was going to research this topic, and oh, I need to remember to make this thumbnail for the video that's coming out on Tuesday so that it can be scheduled and ready to go. So it's like just those little tiny things that I end up doing at 11 o'clock at night because I'm like, oh, I forgot, you know, so it helps me stay on track for sure. And we also use Airtable to make lists of content. So we organize all of our YouTube videos by theme, so sort of like playlists. So when we're going to schedule social media content, I'll say, okay, what is all of my Valentine's Day stuff and all of my Valentine's Day videos, all of my pictures. So my social media manager can just go in there and find the link to the YouTube video, find the pictures that are associated with it, find the caption that I wrote. And before I had a social media manager, I just used that for myself so that I could easily go in there and grab stuff. So you're setting using these tools to set up a process for which you're doing things, so that when you can hire someone else to help you, you're like, oh, this is how I do it. And you can just give it to them rather than trying to figure out, how they do something. And then you're like, no, this is how I do it. Here's the process. And then you both understand how it goes. That's really important for growing, right?
Yeah, I think that's really key to explain. Even if you're a team of one, getting this in place gets you set up for success later down the road when you do want to hand things off.
For sure.
What about you, Sonia or Kat? Do you guys use any tool or project management system?
I was using Trello. I guess I'm a more simple gal. I'm learning so much from you guys. I definitely need to step up my game. I was using Trello and just Google Calendar, and I have reminders every single day, brainstorm ideas, get stuff done. Every Saturday I have my reminder. I have Friday, my reminder that tomorrow I need to be getting ready for filming, stuff like that. But I mean, hearing about Asana, it sounds great. So definitely going to look into it and incorporate it.
When I was trying to learn how to use Asana, because I hate learning new things, like technical things, I just told myself I was just going to use it for me, so if it was like I used it wrong, it was like I was the only one who knew it. And I literally just started using it just for the tasks. So, and I used to do Google Calendar too, Kat. So when I started bringing in other people, though, it was really hard to sync our calendars. So Asana is really great for literally just saying, oh, I'm assigning myself this task. Oh, but now I'm going to assign this task to this other person, and they can tell me when they're done, or they can ask me a question under that task. And then you just kind of ignore all the other buttons until you're like, okay, now I need to learn how to do this thing. I'm going to just focus on that. Because I don't know about you, but I get overwhelmed. I'm like, I don't know what all this stuff is or how to make groups. This is a lot.
Yeah,
absolutely.
What about you, Sonia? Are you Asana or paper and pencil?
This year I started using Asana, and it's growing on me. So, but I just use like your regular lists and to-do list and Google Docs. I have a Google Docs where I have all my YouTube video ideas and all my different like the scripts of what I'm going to say in each video. And it's a little bit more simplistic, but it works. But Asana, it works great. I mean, it's really a step up.
Yeah, and I think that's the key. It's figuring out what works for you and helps you simplify your life. If you don't feel good in Asana, there's at least 6 other platforms that I know out there. Yep. And it's just to find a way to help you streamline some things, because there are some things you're going to do over and over again. And if you can streamline it or have a link to, I know one thing that we have in Asana is a link to all of our hex codes for our brand colors, so that I'm not always searching for those colors, because you need to pop them in when you're doing a thumbnail. If I have them saved somewhere real quick, or my fonts real quick, or even having video ideas already in Asana ready to go. So most of us usually get a video idea maybe when we're running to the grocery store. And if I keep things in notebooks, I don't know if a child is going to take it, rip the page out, or what. So keeping it somewhere where it's safe online has just been a major time saver.
That's so smart with the hex codes. Genius.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely. So we've talked about like planning content and our processes. What does a day look like for you when your video goes live? What are the kind of the processes that you go through to promote that video? Marissa?
Yes. So the optimization, it's funny because I'm actually doing I'm writing an SOP, a standard operating procedure for how I pre-optimize and how I post-optimize my posts. Yes. Or my videos. It's a long process. I'm writing this like stupid SOP. I'm like, I'm already on page 9 and I'm not even it's what I love about the TubeBuddy tool is it's for people, my social media manager that has helped me with optimizing. My team does get, they become an authorized user of my TubeBuddy account. So that way they can help with the optimization for each video. And it's nice. What I love about it is that TubeBuddy has that best practices checklist on the side. So you're like, okay, monetization turned on, hashtags added, title, blah, and you make sure you got the end screens, the cards, and all that. And so I think what takes the longest for pre-optimizing is the video chapters, and also just making sure that the cards are in the right place, and making sure that if I've mentioned something in the video, that it's also in the description, because the audience gets mad, like, hey, you said it's in the description, it's not there. I'm like, okay, sorry. And then so for post optimization, the strategy is to always use YouTube stories. YouTube stories has been so great for bringing in extra subscribers. So posting at least 3 to 4 stories every single day is the goal. And so we've, with the social media manager I've had, we've been able to achieve that. And and then also with stories, you get 1 sticker per week. So you can have a sticker that you put on the story that people can click it and go straight to the video. So that also helps boost views. And then also I'll share Instagram teasers to Instagram and also to IGTV, because I like IGTV, since you can have an evergreen link in there, and you can have the link and people can click directly to the YouTube platform to go watch your video. So it's a lot. It's a process for sure.
It is. What about you, Kat? Do you have a process that you set up for when your video goes live?
Yeah, so when my video goes live, I usually have a rule of thumb that I'll stay on my video for about an hour answering questions. It seems like that first hour is imperative for a lot of people that are asking questions, just to be there in the comments. I also share to all of my platforms usually. So I share on Facebook, Instagram. My Instagram's a little bit different, so I'll share it on my story depending on the topic. My Instagram is more like my travel journeys, so it's a little bit different than my actual YouTube, which is about money monetization, stuff like that. So I'll post thumbnails and stuff on stories on YouTube. Sometimes I'll do it on my Facebook page as well. So, but mostly I just try to interact with my followers on my videos within I'll stay on there for about an hour before I have to get back to work or something.
Mm-hmm. What about you, Liz? Because you have a robust social media plan. What are kind of the steps that you do when your video goes live? And I think you do premieres too, right?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't know if premieres make them better or not, but I just really enjoy doing premieres. I like talking to my audience right when a video goes live. It gives me a feel for how people are reacting to it, and if they want to see more of this type of content. And chatting with people live is always really fun. And so I try to do that. I do the premiere, and then we interact for the first few hours to just make sure we're answering any comments and following up with people to boost the views as much as possible. And then we usually already have the video chopped down into other videos for the various social media platforms. So those little phone clips that I took before, I'll use for stories, and then we'll tell people to swipe up to go to YouTube to watch the full video. Or on TikTok, I'll say, I'll post a very small little clip and then say, watch the full video on YouTube. And on Facebook, we usually post the whole video if it's not too long, but we always kind of treat YouTube like it's a TV show. So we kind of expect the videos to be a little bit longer and a little bit more informative. And then all of the social media platforms try to give little tastes and encourage people to go watch more of it if they want it, rather than kind of this is 20 minutes. I'm scrolling Instagram right now. I don't have that kind of time. So we kind of just keep it to more of smaller pieces. And then if they want it, then they can go see more of it, because that's better for them to just scroll past something that's only a minute long, than to be posting 20-minute videos and then they're just ignoring it and they never want to come back to your channel again.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm. What about you, Sonia?
What Liz was saying, that repurposing your content from YouTube, treating YouTube as your base content. And if you have a video for YouTube, then you can split it into different sections and post it on Instagram, or maybe the written down version, you can have a blog post about that subject, or Pinterest, you can have like 1,000 pins from a single YouTube video. So if you are creating a YouTube content and you have your video uploaded to the platform, then you can repurpose the same content. You don't even have to shoot another video or anything, and you can post it to other social media. And that way you are going to have like a lot of content from one piece, like one video.
Yeah, I think that's a really good point. And one thing to note, because I get asked this a lot, well, aren't you going to lose views on your YouTube channel? And while, yes, initially you might, you also need to realize you have potential customers, clients, because all of us also have a business model off of YouTube that may be on Facebook, that may be on Instagram, and that may be where they find us before they even realize we have a YouTube channel. And so I think it's also important to think about what is another platform that you could incorporate by doing some of the things the ladies talked about here today, like repurposing your content, because it makes creating content for those platforms easier because you're not having to start from scratch every single time. And it can help you increase your following over time because you're bringing the content to them on the platform that they are already on. It's really hard to get people off a platform that they like to hang out on. So I'm really glad you all shared kind of your different processes and how you repurpose a lot of your content. One question that I did have is, how did you guys figure out when you were going to publish? I'm assuming most of you all have a specific day and a time, but how did you get to that point? How did you know that was your day and time? Kat?
So for me, it was honestly just convenience for me I post on Mondays and Thursdays. So the weekend gives me the entire time to get prepared for Monday. And then I have the rest of the week to prepare for Thursday. So since I have a very full-time life outside of YouTube, it's imperative that I have enough time between posts that I can prepare. And I found that Monday and Thursdays for me just was the most convenient, but it was also a great time for my viewership. I did play around with different times and days. I was posting at 10 a.m. and then I moved to 8 a.m. And I noticed that when I moved to 8 a.m., a lot of people, before they go to work, they were watching videos. I don't know if you guys have this bad habit, but when you wake up, you're kind of scrolling through Instagram, you're scrolling through Facebook, you might watch a video on YouTube. So I found that moving my time earlier did help with those beginning views. So I did play around a lot with times, but I know for me, the day it worked well for me. It was just really convenient. And I knew that I could be consistent on those 2 days.
What about you, Sonia?
Well, I try to post on Wednesday at around 10 a.m. But I try to not obsess about it. Like if you are really like insecure about your uploading schedule and you're like, oh, but what if I upload at the wrong time and the YouTube gods are not going to recommend my video? Like, no, that's not how it works. I mean, it helps to have a specific like time and like that you publish videos, so you can tell your audience, but also it's not like a huge difference in my opinion, at least. So maybe a lot of people like obsess about it, or maybe they get super anxious, like, oh, I'm going to publish my video at the wrong time. And there's no wrong time, or there's no like right time for every single channel. At least that's what I think. I don't know how you see it, but just experiment, work, publish a few videos, see how they work, and not get super obsessed about it.
And Liz, you said you treat yours like a TV show, so I'm sure by now you have it ingrained in your subscribers, like new video this day, this time. How did you get to that day and time?
We looked at our, analytics to see when people were watching the most. And it was the earlier in the morning, and it kind of seemed like either right before people were getting to work or maybe during their commute. It was, you know, kind of like 8 or 9 o'clock in the morning. And so for a long time, that's what we went with. And then I settled on Tuesdays at 9 a.m. because Monday was kind of like my getting ready for the weekday. And then Tuesday seemed like a good day to like publish and kind of keep an eye on the post and make sure it was doing well. And then Wednesday, we're filming. So that kind of made sense for me. And then recently we've been thinking about actually changing our time to noon because our analytics are like, a lot of people are watching you at lunchtime. So I think it's okay to schedule a time and stick with it because, it's just like prime time for your TV show, right? Like tune in every Tuesday at 9 a.m. I'm going to be here, and people will work you into their schedule and you become kind of a part of their day. But it's also okay to, switch it up and change different times if something else is working. But I think consistency does help. At least it does for me. I don't, like Sonia was saying, I don't think it will make or break your channel. Like the number one rule is just to be giving your audience the content that they want and that they enjoy. And, but I do notice that we kind of go in these streams, like you'll see the same people during the premieres for like weeks at a time. And then it'll be like a new group of people. So it's okay to be changing because it's different people watching anyways.
Mm-hmm. What are your thoughts, Sonia? I mean, Marissa.
Yeah, so I've had a steady publication between 9 and 10 a.m. Eastern Standard Time, and that's just, I know my audience is very US based, and the cool thing about YouTube for those creators out there trying to build a business from YouTube is the mindset of people on YouTube. So like, it's interesting because the heavy traffic times on my channel are from like 10 a.m. to about 2:30. And on Instagram and TikToks and all the other social medias, it's like 7 p.m., 8. And so I think to myself, like, we're all like, well, the first thing I'm going to do tomorrow is YouTube this because I got to get this done. So it's kind of a different mindset of people, us as YouTube users and other viewers on the platform, and just the mindset of people using YouTube. It's more of like a productivity type social media. And so I think that's just an interesting note on why the traffic is just more heavier earlier during the day. And so the reason I post, I try to post before the big wave of traffic is so that the video has the fullest potential to capitalize on that, the traffic, the saturated traffic time. So that's my posting time strategy.
Cool. So we did have a question earlier, and I think it's fair to ask since we are on the TubeBuddy channel. What would you say is your favorite TubeBuddy tool, or the one that you probably use the most? Liz?
I think we use their SEO tools the most for just research purposes. And I know they have tons and tons of features that I should be looking more into. Like I'm watching the comments. I'm like, oh, I didn't know about that. I need to check that out. So, but yeah, TubeBuddy is also really great for just analyzing, right? Just looking at your analytics and seeing what's working and what's not working.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else?
Yeah, I'll go.
Yeah.
My favorite tool, hands down, is the A/B split testing with thumbnails and with titles. Those could really be a game changer. It is with the Legend package, so it's one of the higher price packages, but it's been so worth it with just increasing ad revenue, with getting more views to old videos that were dead. You'll be amazed just the power of split testing a thumbnail, black background versus red background, and, a different image in the face. And so you can really get specific in what worked and what didn't work, even down to testing the titles of videos. So hands down, my favorite tool, and a tool that our team uses regularly.
Mm-hmm. Sonia or Kat?
Yeah, we were talking earlier about the best practices tab. When you upload a video, TubeBuddy tells you what is missing, or if you should add your video to a playlist, and all those things. When you do them regularly, you get used to do them. But if you're first starting out your channel, you sometimes forget about all those little things that you have to do when you upload a video. So it's nice to have a reminder.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I didn't know about the A/B testing thumbnails, so I'm definitely gonna have to check that out, Marissa. But I use it more like Liz, the SEO, research, analytics. To me, TubeBuddy has changed the game for as far as analyzing all of it, and when you're researching your videos for keywords, stuff like that.
Yeah, and then we had another question from Journaling with Nadia. Nadia, what's one tip you implemented with YouTube that had the biggest impact? Who wants to take that one?
I think consistency, probably for us, was the biggest impact, and actually just really helped us get our mind around planning ahead. And I think consistency is one of the biggest problems that anybody has with anything, right? Like if you want to start working out, it's hard to be consistent because it's not part of your schedule. It's not part of your daily life. So defining a certain time to film and to post, like all of these things that you just know is when you're supposed to be working on your work helps a lot for me. And so I don't get lost in working on work that's fun, oh, this will be fun to do. And then I get in this black hole of creating content, but then not posting the content. We're not following through with it. And then it's been 3 months since I posted anything. And, it's almost like starting all over again. So consistency everywhere has helped me a ton with, growing our views steadily. We're not like taking off or anything or going viral, but it has helped us continuously to grow.
Mm-hmm. Anyone else think one thing that really made a difference?
For me, it was thumbnails. Yes. Hands down, just thumbnails. A lot of people don't think that they're as important as they really are. And what I mean by that is, like in the beginning, I was doing my thumbnails. I'm not a graphic designer, but I was uploading all kinds of crazy stuff, just like yellows with tie-dye with purple, and this is not kidding, like it was like the colors of the rainbow on my channel. You could even, like, those of you could see the old thumbnails versus the new one. And so once you can get a Sonia, a Kat, a Liz thumbnail, a Trena thumbnail, like something that you can identify with, any viewer, they'll know even just at a glance, even in the suggested column and on mobile, like, oh, that's a Marissa thumbnail or something like that. So, the branding has been a game changer once I stuck to a particular color palette and style. Because my misconception before was that I needed to have so much variety, so much color and all that. And that wasn't true at all. So once I got like the branding down and the color palette and just stuck to simple things, the same style, everything, that was a very pivotal time for the channel, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I think people don't give branding enough credit, even in YouTube. I have a graphic design background, so branding is just like a no-brainer for me. Like everything uses the same font, the same colors, like hex codes. We have our little symbols, sprinkles that we use in different places to kind of tie it all together on the different platforms. But I do see other channels who are trying to start out, and they I think are trying a lot of things, which is good because you want to try a lot of things to see what sticks. But it's also like what you were saying, Marissa, is that you want to establish that you're this is who you are. This is your brand. These are your colors. So as you're scrolling through your feed, I was like, I do that when I'm on YouTube and I'm going through my feed. I'll be like, oh, Preppy Kitchen posted a new video because I just recognize his thumbnail and I know that that's him. And some of the other cake decorators that I follow, like, had a cake that I'm just like, oh, that's I just immediately know. And so those subconscious cues are super important to have for your audience so that they are tuning in and they just associate you. But I'm thinking I need to do A/B testing now because we've been using the same thumbnails for like 2 years, 3 years. And I'm just like, maybe it's time to switch it up.
Yeah, and I think what was talked about earlier, the A/B testing tool really helps because when you do A/B tests, you don't want to completely change everything because you don't know what actually made the change. So whether you do A/B tests and like Marissa said, you test a red background versus a white background, and that's all you change. You leave everything the exact same so you can really see, okay, the red background did perform better. But again, if you did a red background with a little bit of text in your photo and then the white background, you just had yourself, you don't know, okay, was it the text and the background? So do remember when you're making these A/B tests that you're just tweaking one thing at a time to really analyze what made the difference. And I think that also leads into, if you're going to test thumbnails or test titles. Again, if you change them both, you don't know what actually made the difference. Was it the thumbnail or was it the title? And so those are some things to think about too when you want to test and you want to go in that next level at TubeBuddy is be careful, pick one thing to test and then test that. I think there was one more question that was really good from Tybe Trolling. I think that's his account. About trending videos and kind of like this evergreen original videos. Is it good to do both or should you just focus on one, like a trending video versus kind of an evergreen video?
I personally think that trends are really important to be hopping on YouTube because for me, cake trends are popping up even faster than ever before. It used to be like a trend a year and now it's like a trend a week. Thanks TikTok. But people immediately, like YouTube is a search platform, or what am I trying to say? Like it's like Google, but for videos, right? And people go to YouTube to find answers to questions. So if there's a trend happening and you are one of the first people to answer that question, then you can just explode. That happened to us accidentally with hot cocoa bombs this last year. I saw that people were making them and I was like, oh, I want to make some. I want to figure it out. I love working with chocolate. And we posted it in October, which was 2 months before it really, really exploded for Christmas. And I have never seen traffic like that I got from that video. And that really told us that we need to be paying attention to trends to make sure, even though we have our schedule that's set in stone, if a trend happens, it's like, oop, insert, like we need to get that out there. So both, right? Videos that are good for just evergreen content that people need to reference, like our videos for how to just ice your basic cake, always do well. Ganache video information always does well. Tempering chocolate always does well. But those trend ones, that is like insane traffic sometimes.
Anybody else?
Definitely do both, but I would say that you should try to do evergreen content. Yes, you have to do it because sometimes a lot of people prefer to do trend topics, right? Because those get more views, those are exciting, those are what people are looking for right now. And a lot of channels don't do evergreen content or not enough content that is evergreen that a lot of people are going to watch later. So even if trending videos had a lot of views and are great, you should also do evergreen content, even if those videos are not going to get as much views in the first week or when you upload them, they're going to get views in the long run, right?
I agree.
Yeah, I think it's great to see that initial spike with a trend, but you also want to be balancing that out with longevity. And I always use the statistic, even with social media, it's on average, an Instagram post lives for about 48 hours. A Facebook post lives for about 6 hours, whereas a YouTube video's average lifespan is about 20 days. So being able to create content that has longevity takes stress off of you, takes that burnout factor off when you can create these videos that are maybe just this slow burner, right? They're not doing anything massive, but they're continuing every single day, a couple videos, a couple subscribers. That's really where you're going to see that continuous growth. I want to thank you, all of you ladies today, for being here. Is there any last tip or advice you want to give the viewers here today when it comes to being consistent here on YouTube and just staying in it? I know so many of us can get burnout and sometimes frustrated with YouTube. Do any of you have any one big piece of advice you would give to somebody who's struggling right now?
I would personally say consistency. Even as your channel grows, you're going to struggle with it. Even if it doesn't matter if you just have a couple subscribers or 100,000 subscribers or even 500,000 subscribers. We all struggle with consistency, but if you are consistent, you will see success on YouTube. I know we have heard from some awesome YouTubers today about all the things they incorporate on their YouTube channel, but even if you keep it simple with just a to-do list, like Sonia does and I do, you can see success on YouTube. And to me, consistency also, like some of you have talked about, changed my channel, just being on there and just making the time to do it and just do it. Just get out there and do it.
I think that personally, I had to think about this for a second, but I think that the thing that helped me the most, besides consistency, is to remember your audience and stay true to your message, whatever that is. I get shiny syndrome sometimes and see what other people are doing and think maybe they're being more successful than I am and I should change something. And then that always makes me feel worse about my content because it's not fulfilling my inner message, I guess. And I'm being not authentic. So whenever I'm feeling a little burnout or a little bit lost, I remind myself that I'm making content for the Liz's of the world, if that makes sense. So what I would want to see is what I'm making. What is helpful for me is going to be helpful for somebody else. And so that's what they mean by being yourself, right? And I see a lot of people asking, how do you grow, or how do you go viral, and how do you get more views? And those are all strategies on top of just making the good content for your audience. And so figuring out what that content is kind of well, what do I want to see? What do I want to make? What do I think? If it's funny, or it's comedy, or it's informational, or if it's aesthetic, whatever it is, stick to that and try not to get the shiny syndrome.
Marissa, yeah.
Okay, I'll take a stab at the consistency. I think there's a couple aspects to it. There's one, just incorporating the habit into your life, because it's not a factor of motivation, because there's going to be a lot of times, maybe half the time sometimes, where you don't want to film. You really don't, right? For different reasons. Then there's going to be other days you get in front of that camera, you're like, yes, today is the most glorious film day in the world. So you're really going to have different emotions and different things going on in your life. But it's really, the key factor is incorporating it as a habit and basing it off of that. The habit really is the key here, because like I said, there's going to be days where you don't want to do it, but you're going to also, the other factor I think is key here is remembering the why you're doing it. I think it's something extra special where we have this platform where we're able to impact lives, give value from the comfort of our home, and impact millions of people around the world. And so that's also important, is to keep that in the back of your mind. If for comments, we might have 3% hate comments, but 97% amazing comments. And so it's really, and those comments, really can get you excited for doing the next video. So it's just really having those things is habits, and just remembering why you're getting up in front of the camera and doing what you're doing.
Mm-hmm. I love that. That is the point. And I think we all probably fall into that kind of cycle every once in a while, that we see this happening and we think we need to do that, but it's not authentic to kind of what Marissa and Liz said. It's not authentic to ourselves and the us's in the world that are watching us. Sonia, I'm just going to throw it over to you with one last tip. If you have any advice for people who are trying to grow on YouTube and they're struggling right now.
Yeah, so I always live by better done than perfect. This is my mantra. This is what I use, because the minute I start thinking, oh no, my video is not perfect, it should have more B-roll, it should have, like, I don't know, drone shots or anything, is the minute I don't post that video. And you should be posting, even if it's not perfect, at least, or if you think it's not perfect, you should just do it. You should just say better done than perfect. Okay, that's it. And a lot of people don't post because they expect their videos to be perfect, but it's okay. It doesn't matter.
Yes, that is such an important one as well. Well, thank you, Liz, Sonia, Marissa, and Kat. And thank you, TubeBuddy, for having us here today on this panel. Thank you, everybody that has watched us here, dropped in the comments. We really appreciate your support. And make sure you check out all of the ladies' channels down in the description box. And thank you again.